What's up, everybody? We have a new Smash theory on our hands, so let's dive right in. This theory is coming from over on Smashboards, and it's actually an old theory that turned out to be true for the first Fighter's Pass, and is now being revisited and applied to the second Fighter's Pass. So over on Smashboards, Andre123, over a year ago, on August 7th, 2019, posted a theory. Keep in mind, this was after Hero was released, Banjo was revealed, but not out yet. This was a mock-up image, and this was before we knew anything about Terry and Byleth. So their post reads, Sound Test Voice Theory Time. There are 4 empty slots in the voice section of the sound test menu as of 4.0.0, one of which is going to be taken by Banjo and Kazooie, and this leaves us 3 empty slots. The 3 empty slots could be filled by one voiced fighter with a different character / opposite gender alt, and another fighter with a voice. 3 voiced fighters, which possibly means a new post-Fighters Pass fighter is coming, or surprisingly, all 3 of them share one slot like Pokemon Trainer, which possibly means the last Fighters Pass fighter may be voiced or not. 1 fighter with 2 more different character alts, which means the next fighter doesn't have a voice. So this theory turned out to be 100% true, as Terry and Banjo both have a single voice spot, despite Banjo being sort of 2 characters in one, while Byleth does have male and female alts with different voices, so the 3 spots were all filled by the end of the first Fighter's Pass. Now they are applying this same theory to the second Fighter's Pass. They wrote, replying to my old post about my theory, my sound test voice theory got things right for the Fighter's Pass 1. Terry filled in 1 empty voice spot, and Byleth and his female alt filled in 2 empty voice spots. Now there are currently 5 empty voice slots in the voice clip section of the sound test menu as of 9.0.0, and since Steve, Alex, Zombie, Enderman doesn't have a voice, this means we are most likely getting a fighter with a different character / opposite gender alt with a different voice in the Fighter Pass Volume 2, but there is still a chance that we may not get one. So Steve and his alts are completely unvoiced, yet we still have 5 spots for voices. We only have 4 more characters in Fighter Pass Volume 2, so it seems very likely we will have a situation similar to what happened with Byleth for one of the characters in the second Fighter's Pass. Of course, it's also possible another character doesn't get a voice like Steve, and we end up with 2 characters in this pass that have alternate voices or something. Hard to say for sure, but we have 5 voices to divvy up between only 4 remaining fighters. Sponk on my Discord summed it up like this. There was this theory over a year ago about how there's 4 empty spots on the sound test for voice lines after Hero. The theory was that one character would have an alt that had voice differences. One was Banjo, another was Terry, and we ended up getting Byleth, who did take up 2 slots. And now there's 5 empty slots when we only have 4 characters left. So basically one character who has an alt with voice differences, and only one is basically locked in now. Okay, so that's the theory. It's pretty simple, but it doesn't help narrow down a specific character too much, as there's so many possibilities. But let's discuss them. So the most likely thing would be a character just like Byleth, with a male and female alt with different voices. We still haven't seen the Monster Hunter Mii costumes return, and Monster Hunter is a character that would almost certainly have a male and female counterpart. For instance, here's the male and female Monster Hunter from Monster Hunter Rise. I'd expect if this character got in Smash, both costumes would be options and have different voices. There are other male and female characters I could see happening, like Astral Chain characters, having both characters as one DLC spot. We've been talking a lot about Crash Bandicoot lately, and Crash seems very likely in my opinion for this Fighter's Pass. Crash and Coco are both playable characters in Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. So potentially, similar to what we got with Steve and Alex, we could get both Crash and Coco in Smash Bros. In one spot. On my Discord, Beezercism wrote, they are not alts, I am sorry, and then showed 2 images of Crash and Coco in Crash Bandicoot 4, kind of pointing out how their body types are very different. So Crash and Coco being 2 different sizes might make getting alts for them difficult to put into Smash, though conversely, Spooku wrote, height difference might not matter. Female Byleth is canonically a lot shorter, yet Byleth of course has the female alt. Personally, I think Crash with a Coco alt is a possibility myself. Getting 2 characters in one spot that have different voices is possible without the character having a male and female counterpart, of course. Sora and Roxas, for instance, would work well as alts and have different voices, but are both male. I do think a Square Enix character is likely after getting 2 Square Spirit events already during the second Fighters Pass, and the Geno and Chocobo Mii costumes are still missing. And yes, I am aware Sora is Disney, but Square would almost certainly be part of the negotiations to some extent if Sora showed up in Smash. If Sora and Roxas actually happened, it would likely mean Geno was just a Mii costume, though I'd be happy with Kingdom Hearts in Smash, and hopefully if Geno was a Mii, he'd be one of these fan-dubbed deluxe Miis and come with like a music track or something and look like a perfectly rendered playable Geno in Smash. I'd be happy with that. Another possibility that could cause a character to have different voices could be the same character with different ages, like how Ike has a younger and older version for his alts. Someone like Kiryu from the Yakuza games, or young and old Isaac from Golden Sun if the Isaac Assist Trophy got upgraded to a playable fighter. That's a possibility. Dante from Devil May Cry is another character heavily speculated for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that could have a younger and older version of himself. Or potentially Dante could have Nero or Virgil alts or something. I'm unsure if that would work myself, but hey, maybe. Also, it's possible some sort of duo character could have different voices. Banjo-Kazooie only took one voice spot, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will happen the same way with another duo character. Rex and Pyra, for instance, could show up as a duo character, and potentially they would take up 2 voice spots for both of those characters. Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia's Mii costume still hasn't returned, and potentially Lloyd could be a Lloyd and Colette duo character or something. It's a possibility. Characters like Rex and Pyra or Lloyd and Colette, I would imagine might take up 2 separate voice spots. Geno, of course, is another character that could be a duo character, with Geno and Mallow together. Though Reshi on my Discord wrote, if Geno and Mallow were in, they would most likely not be voiced. And that's totally possible. If Geno or Geno and Mallow happened, they might not be voiced at all, much like Steve isn't. Of course, 5 voice spots for 4 more characters in Fighters Pass 2 could also maybe mean 5 more characters instead of 4. Now this is highly speculative, and it's far more likely a character will simply have an alt with a different voice or something, but it is possible a 5th character could take the 5th voice spot. We got Piranha Plant as a bonus individual DLC character after base game, so maybe another one could happen at the end after all of Fighter Pass Volume 2 has been revealed. A character like Waluigi, who has a lot of fan demand but might be a bit difficult to justify a spirit board, stage, and music tracks for, could work perfectly as an individual bonus character at the end. If Sakurai wants to upgrade an assist trophy, I do think Waluigi is in a good position for that. Or to get really speculative, maybe a 3rd Fighters Pass could happen, and more voice spots open up, maybe 4 more Echo Fighters or something, I've speculated that before, could completely fill out the character select screen. It's been all but outright stated that nothing will happen after Fighter Pass Volume 2, so again, I'm not counting on more stuff after that, but Smash has surprised us many, many times. Even still, let's not get our hopes up here, as Ultimate has already exceeded my expectations a long time ago. So that's voice theory. I think it's probably true, but it doesn't really help us narrow things down too much. Whether or not it's a character with a male and female alt or some other possibility, I have no idea. But I do think by the end of this one will likely be confirmed to be true, and all 5 of those spots will be filled up by voices. Likely one of the final characters here will have 2 voices. In other news, Nintendo has tweeted about the remaining Smash amiibos for the first Fighters Pass, although this time they did not mention them being out by fall 2021, and instead simply listed them as 2021. Before, Nintendo had tweeted out an image that said fall 2021, but then deleted the tweet, so hopefully this is a sign we won't have to wait quite that long to get our hands on these amiibo. And the fall 2021 image was a mistake, and these are just coming out at some point in 2021. Speaking of cool figures, Spooky Dead wrote, I know it means nothing in relation to Smash Bros, but it's interesting that these 2 are getting Nendoroids. And then they posted 2 pictures of the prototypes for Crash Bandicoot and Doomslayer's Nendoroids. Crash and Doomguy are of course heavily speculated for Smash Bros. Ultimate, and while getting Nendoroids doesn't necessarily mean much for Smash, I will point out that Banjo got a lot of merchandise before getting into Smash. I'll also add that Nendoroids are Japanese, and Doomguy and Crash getting merchandise for the Japanese market at least shows the characters are expected to sell somewhat decently there, and getting in Smash, of course, would help any character's relevancy in the Japanese market. We've talked a ton about Sakurai's pick of the day tweet with the 2 stopwatches, and no, I don't have anything else to say about it, but there is a new pick of the day some people have been talking about. It's this image with Samus riding Charizard with Hyrule Castle in the background. Some people have equated it to maybe being a reference to Ayla from Chrono Trigger. Like I've said before, these picks never seem to pan out for anything significant for Smash speculation. But Sakurai is a gamer and loves lots and lots of video games, so some of these may very well be references to games. But just because they might be a reference to some game doesn't necessarily mean that game is getting content in Smash. Again, Sakurai himself just likes video games, so making references to games he likes is probably all he's doing here. There's a difference between referencing and hinting, and these are likely just references at best. So while I do think speculating about these images is fun, it's likely just Sakurai having fun making these picks at the end of the day, so I do think they're just references at best. Finally, last time I mentioned there was this rumor about Steve possibly being based on Tommy Vercetti from Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I said it was just a neat rumor, and Notch himself has now weighed in on it and said it isn't true. Notch wrote, 0% intentional reference to Tommy, as far as I know. I just picked some colors. There might be some subconscious thing going on since I indeed was super into Grand Theft Auto Vice City, but I can't confirm that. Heck, I'm not even sure the timelines match up. So any similarities between Steve and Tommy are completely coincidental and subconscious from Notch at best. Alright guys, well that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I do think voice theory is onto something and will likely turn out to be true. However, there's so many possibilities, it doesn't really help narrow things down. What do you guys think about voice theory? Do you think it's true? And are there any characters you think could fit for it that I didn't mention here? Let me know in the comments below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes, really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.